Our parliament is becoming a laughing stock where members of parliament are elected without knowing their duty, even without knowing how to express themselves, both in public and in Queen's language. And in fact, an honest discussion must come out to either create another language where people can express themselves. It can be Uganda and maybe Kiswahili. But in parliament, there are very few people who know Kiswahili. So I think the best would be Uganda and English. Because very many people cannot express themselves. We are becoming laughing stocks across the nation. So yesterday, NRM candidate was nominated and he failed to construct an English statement. Yet remember, in the parliament is going, in case he wins, all business is transacted in the Queen's language. Before I proceed, let me first play a tape as this member of parliament was speaking. Here's a tape. Listen very carefully because it's going to form a base for a discussion.
I pass 12. I take the flag. Now I pass on 12. Now I talk. Passing only 6 you get a flag. It's not good. Now I come back to come for independent because I like
So that person who is speaking, there's a difference between not speaking good English but when you can express yourself. He failed on speaking English, not even bad English, but he even failed to express herself. Listen to the video again and you hear what he was speaking and tell me what he meant. It requires a person who has a lot of wisdom to understand what he was speaking. Let me play it again.
I take my pen. I pass 12. I take the flag. Now I pass on 12. Now I talk. Passing only 6 you get a flag. It's not good. Now I come back to come for independent because I like
So that is the person as he was failing to construct a single sentence. First of all, let me also be fair. Speaking good English is not a measure of intelligence. No, he may be an intelligent woman. But the fabric, our parliament was set up that language which is done to transact business is English. So what is going to happen in case he wins? Those are the problems we see. It is the truth. In fact, we must start inducting Luganda in parliament because Luganda can be understood by almost 70% of the people. And maybe Kiswahili it was brought as a motion on the floor of parliament that Kiswahili must be used. Shame upon this member of parliament in case he wins. Do you want to tell me that he can, because every member of parliament is given a committee on which he can maybe follow up. Do you think he can express herself when business comes on in his committee on the floor of parliament? Okay, so our parliament, first of all, is becoming useless. It's one of the biggest in the world. India, with a population of 1.6 billion, has 500 members of parliament. Us, with 45 million, we have almost the same members of parliament. Countries with the biggest GDP, like California, has I think 2 trillion GDP. Uganda has something like 40, but we have the biggest representation. We must rethink about that so that we can elect few members of parliament but with the substance. It is the truth. In fact, when I get a chance to enter parliament, the first motion I will bring it is to cut size to parliament. It should be put in the constitution that Uganda must have such numbers of parliament, or you must have remedies we follow for a constitution to be created, not just General Museveni waking up and says, I've given Tororo, I've given Masaka, I've giving constituencies like you are giving biscuits to your children. This is where the politics fails us as a country. The same story of that day, Moses Ali was endorsed as, I think, the Ajumani County Member of Parliament. I think Moses Ali is 86 years of old. And for me, it continually shows us how we are going as a country. First of all, with no hate, I love Moses Ali because as a Muslim, he has been there since Idi Amin's regime. In fact, under Idi Amin, he was a Minister of Finance. But being endorsed at that age when he cannot even stand by himself, it shows you how the fabric of our country is degenerating in matters of politics. It's the reason that's why we must sit down as a country and we start asking ourselves, do we need such members of parliament? However much you want Moses Sali, there are some things that should not appear in our parliament. Let me first play with the tape before I proceed. Here's the tape. So you clearly see that Moses Ali was being endorsed by the president and is being held to stand. Can you imagine being held to stand? Moses Ali is 86. He must be somewhere retiring. And for me, what pains me more is, if maybe he was new to politics, it would have been maybe a different scenario. But Moses Ali was in parliament in the 70s. It is the truth. Was in the parliament in the 70s as a minister of finance. Okay? And now, I think he has been in parliament for almost 30 years. He's still going, he's 86. You want to tell me that there are no young people in parliament? Okay, let me assume that maybe he's loved by General Kaguta Museveni. Let him bring his son to be elected. Okay? Because we end up electing people who are not doing the duties of a member of parliament. They are not doing their duties because of different regions. So for me, I think we must do some introspection as a country. That if we fail to do introspection, we are going to see more problems. Moses Ali deserves to retire. He has been minister. He has been minister of finance. He has been MP. He has been deputy prime minister. What else are you looking for? Okay? Does he want to die in power so that we can get a by-election? Those are the things that are supposed to be asked. By the way, I'm one of the people who will never abuse Moses Ali. I wish him even to stay longer. I wish him good life. I wish him everything good. But being in a political office at that age when you cannot even hold yourself is not something good. Of course, as my opinion remains yours truly, Mr. Makinde, Kavya Sulaiman Mawagai, the next MP for Makinde constituency. I'll see you on another one. Peace.